Good evening, I'm Kyle Clark.
And I'm Jennifer Meckles. An Indigenous woman in Denver is now recovering after she says her husband almost killed her. 9
News reporter Ria Jha is here after speaking with this woman about what she went through. Ria?
Yeah, she's traumatized and recovering. And we want to warn you, this is a story that could be difficult for some people to watch. She told me this may not have happened to her if resources for domestic violence survivors were more accessible, particularly for people in her community.
Around here, all of this is numb.
The body Alexandra James Banuelos once knew.
This is where I thought I had broken my arm. They thought that I was going to lose my eye.
Is now one she doesn't recognize.
When I do wash my hands, I don't look in the mirror. I'm afraid to.
Alexandra says she told her husband she wanted a divorce. On May 6th, she says he punished her for it.
He was grabbing my hair and punching me while holding me in place. And I basically scalped myself. I was thinking I was gonna die.
She says he's hurt her before. Alexandra filed a protection order against her husband, Brandon Banuelos, right after he was arrested for assaulting her on February 14th.
February 15th, he was let out of jail, and he came right back to me.
The Denver Police Department says they're investigating, and no arrests have been made. Alexandra has no idea where her husband is, but knows she needs to get out of Colorado.
I'm terrified that he's gonna come back and finish the job that he was about to do.
Now in recovery, she says the fact that she wasn't killed makes her one of the lucky ones.
We're Indigenous, and some of my family members have gone missing, some have gotten murdered.
According to the U.S. Department of Justice, more than 4 in 5 American Indian and Alaska Native adults have experienced some form of violence in their lifetime. Alexandra says the resources for her community aren't accessible enough.
I've been trying to escape this marriage since February 14th, and there's no help for us.
Doctors told Alexandra she might need facial reconstruction surgery, and she's now taking 20 to 30 pills per day to manage her injuries and a pre-existing autoimmune disorder, which has flared up due to stress. For anyone in a similar situation to Alexandra, we will have more information on our website. Ria Jha, 9 News.
After a chilly start this morning, temps have rebounded into the 70s, right around average for this time of year. And we have some more warm weather on the way tomorrow ahead of the weekend, a holiday weekend, in fact.
So, Kathy, what a wild swing that we saw today.
Kyle, you're exactly right. We started with a frost advisory, and it's almost June. We were at 36 degrees out at the airport this morning and warmed right up to 72. And while that's kind of an average day for us, after having several days of severe weather, all of that damaging hail, destructive hail in Yuma, northeastern Colorado, all the heavy rain yesterday, we are kind of exhaling and enjoying a little bit of a break, and timed well, as a lot of folks are getting ready to head out for a long holiday weekend. Maybe they're out of school and they're getting ready for a big summer vacation. In Denver, it is calm and mild tonight. It's going to be sunny and warmer tomorrow. Could see temperatures close to 80 with a few thunderstorms over the holiday. We're still mild at 55 for Denver, 65 in Lamar. Winds are lighter, but will be picking up again tomorrow. Tracking a little weather system over northern Colorado. It'll bring in a weak, dry front tomorrow that'll bring temperatures down a little bit as we move into Friday afternoon. In the meantime, all the heavy weather remains along a frontal boundary from central Texas all the way into the Midwest. And there's one last little thunder shower outside of Lamar, and that's moving out. Coming up, we'll have your forecast and the extended outlook in detail in just a bit.
Pro-Palestinian protesters on the University of Denver campus are ignoring demands from campus leaders to take down their encampment. The deadline was 9 o'clock last night. Those tents are still there, and nothing's happened. So far, campus leadership and police have not taken any action in the 24 hours since to remove the camp. Protesters say they're still holding out for their demand that DU sever all financial ties with Israel. Campus leaders and protesters held another round of negotiations this afternoon, but it doesn't look like anything has changed since then.
City of Denver appears ready to admit its $100 million homeless hotel shelter program is not the best plan. City now wants to avoid hotels completely, and the mayor's advisor on homelessness has asked City Council for $5 million to move people directly from the streets into leased apartments. The city would use the majority of that money to pay rent for 250 people for up to a year. The All-In Mile High program has already moved more than 1,200 people into hotel shelters. 45 people have left the hotel so far for leased units of their own. For context, 165 have left to be homeless again. The mayor's office still won't say exactly how much money Johnson's homelessness initiative has cost since he took office.
But come on, this is bordering on ridiculousness now. It's embarrassing not to be able to tell a constituent what this costs.
The new plan to move people directly into housing uses American Rescue Plan money left over from the pandemic. And when that runs out, council members fear it is not clear what will come next. Tonight, a situation in Lakewood. 9 News investigates where neighbors accuse a woman of squatting in a house she doesn't own.
Investigative reporter Jeremy Hohol is along with that now. Jeremy, and in this case, the woman moved into this home after the owner died?
Yeah, the actual rightful heir to the property may be the homeowner's granddaughter who's living with disabilities. 9 News investigates found the accused squatter has a felony record for theft.
In this corner of the Denver metro area, we find a rapidly changing neighborhood with new homes. Right in the middle is a 102-year-old house.
And the house is beautiful.
It's here just west of Sheridan Boulevard in Lakewood where this old home is now valued at nearly $500,000. And for now, the person living inside is not a usual type of home dweller.
It's from 1922, absolutely beautiful.
Mecca Busey lives here rent and mortgage free.
And the wood matches through the whole house. And I have skeleton keys.
She admits her name is not on the deed and she cannot provide a written lease.
How long have you been in the property?
I have been here almost a year.
But Mecca says don't call her a squatter, even though police reports show officers have been coming here for complaints about a squatter.
So you're not a squatter?
Absolutely not, I'm not a squatter.
Police dispatch records reveal officers have visited this home 19 times over the last year for calls about harassment, trespassing, unwanted party.
So where is the true homeowner? After digging through public records, we found he died last year. He did not leave behind a will, leaving behind this empty home, and now a dispute over who should get it.
That dispute leads us to the granddaughter of the deceased homeowner. She used to live here. Police and court records indicate she's a vulnerable adult, currently living in a facility for people with developmental disabilities. And police reports suggest she may not have the mental capacity to make decisions.
So you're saying there's a verbal lease?
Yes, there is a verbal lease.
And as part of that verbal lease, are you paying money to anybody at this point?
Nope.
Mecca claims the granddaughter, who we are not naming, agreed to let her live rent-free in the home while she makes upgrades, with the condition she would eventually buy it. Mecca showed us before and after photos of the yard and kitchen.
So how much money have you been putting
Over
into that?
$200,000 has gone into this house. That's what I'm saying. I actually thought I was getting the house, or I would not have done that.
And this is all a verbal agreement?
Yes.
Why didn't you get anything in writing?
Well, they've been coming. That's what I'm saying. They've been coming here. It didn't look like anything like this was coming at all.
Yeah.
This was a total sideswipe.
You're not taking advantage of someone?
Absolutely not. I offered to buy the house.
Mecca says she's the victim because the granddaughter now sees the home improvements and wants her out.
And then I get here and I make it look nice, and all of a sudden they want me out without even coming and talking to me. They just...
Yeah. Do you regret not getting something in writing?
Absolutely.
It's a mess. I looked at it, I looked at the documents, you and I chatted, and this thing, it's like a law school exam.
9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor tells us verbal leases can exist, but only for less than a year in Colorado.
When you go into court, if you don't have an agreement, that's where the credibility of the witnesses comes in.
You do have some credibility issues, though, with
criminal history.
With your criminal history. I looked up your criminal history.
Yep.
You have at least
I have quite a history.
You have at least 2 felony convictions on your records for identity theft.
Yes, I'm not pretending to be not Mecca, though. That's the whole thing. This has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
And yes, I've done my time, so I have no problem speaking on it.
Mecca tells us she will move if legally forced out, but for now she plans to fight for the 102-year-old home, a home that has no legal owner, at least for now.
If things change and I can have the house, then absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I want the house. I mean, that's the whole thing.
We've learned the court system in Jefferson County has appointed a special administrator to figure out this whole mess of who should get the home. That involves hiring a company that specializes in finding the rightful heirs of property and assets. In the studio, Jeremy Hohola, 9 News.
If you have a tip for 9 News Investigates, you can send us an email, investigates@9news.com. In a few weeks, Morrison's brand new cameras have already clocked thousands of speeders.
And it's not just the humans who can't get across this bridge. It's also the cattle, the produce, and the ag industry that needs to move it all.
A new hospital building will have a signature piece of art crafted by hands healed by its caregivers. Town of Morrison is watching us. 2 weeks into its new speed cameras, the town has issued 10,000 tickets. The automated speed cameras are supposed to catch anybody going 10 over the speed limit of 25. Morrison's come under scrutiny in the past for using tickets as a way to subsidize the town budget. A consulting firm found in 2021 that nearly half of Morrison's budget came from fines. We asked the police chief about the new cameras and whether they're just a cash grab.
Before I got here, Morrison had the reputation of being a speed trap. I wasn't here then. I can't comment to that. What I can comment to is me being here as the chief of police for the last 2 years, I've not seen a decrease. If you know Morrison's a speed trap, then why are you speeding through Morrison?
There you go, right? Morrison will reach into your pocket and take the dollars out. If you get nailed by the red light cameras, it's a $40 ticket. It's less than if an officer actually pulled you over and ticketed you for speeding.
CDOT is hoping to get traffic moving on the Highway 50 bridge across Blue Mesa Reservoir by the 4th of July. The span between Gunnison and Montrose closed more than a month ago after inspectors found cracks in that bridge. With plans to have an opening for limited traffic still 6 weeks away, it's not just people that are stuck on either side of the Blue Mesa Reservoir. Ranchers on the western slope are trying to do business on both sides of the closure. CSU Extension is helping support, even fundraise for ranchers and farmers who are trying to move their animals and their produce back and forth.
There's a lot of animals that move from that west side to up here for the summer grazing period. A lot of crop like corn and, produce producers that use this route to go to markets. And then some of the producers in Gunnison purchase feed, fertilizer, fuel. They get a lot of their equipment serviced in that western area.
One huge help so far is Gunnison County has opened very limited access to this road just south of Blue Mesa, County Road 26. It's a 15-mile detour rather than 7 hours. But the problem is it is a rural, unpaved road that was not at all equipped to handle the weight or the volume of traffic, commercial traffic especially. The state and the county did some work to stabilize that surface and allow limited traffic, including some of these folks, just for now.
We have fair skies and mild temperatures this hour in the mid-50s for downtown Denver. A warmer day tomorrow ahead of a storm we're tracking for the holiday weekend. I'll have that forecast in detail coming up. Hello, welcome back. We are just looking at a beautiful evening in Denver and across the state. We're in between storms, one approaching from the northwest and another setting off a line of storms from central Texas up through the Midwest tonight. That severe weather threat diminishing, but still something we'll be talking about during the overnight time period because those storms are strong. We have a moon that's going to be full tomorrow and it's visible over the city tonight. Waxing gibbous, we're calling it, with 99% full out there. 72 is our high temperature in Denver, and that's about average for the date. 80 in Lamar. These numbers will go 10 degrees warmer tomorrow, into the 90s for east central and southeastern Colorado. DIA, a much better day of travel there with 55 this hour, winds east at 8 and rising pressure. Winds were pretty gusty earlier today. When you stepped out, you probably felt the wind and it felt cooler than the daytime temperature may have indicated. The wind will be returning tomorrow, coming in ahead of a weak weather system that we're tracking to the north and west. It's transporting the high and mid-level clouds in, an isolated shower over southeastern Colorado. Center of circulation will stay north of us, but will bring in a cold front sometime tomorrow afternoon, basically a dry front or a wind shift. Cluster of thunderstorms from Dallas and Houston up into the Memphis area. And this area tonight, finally the enhanced view from the SPC is coming down to more of kind of a marginal or slight risk for severe weather, which is good news. The heavier thunderstorms are weakening somewhat from central Texas up to Cincinnati tonight. Still dealing with some Flood advisories down here, severe thunderstorm watch, thunder, lightning. Those storms will definitely impact travel for those of you headed out of Colorado into that part of the country. We have a couple areas of low pressure, one in the Midwest sliding east, another one moving north of Colorado, and then high pressure settling in with the storm track to the north of us. The moisture will be fairly limited for thunderstorms over the next couple of days. Powerful storms to the south, and again, pretty stormy over the northern plains and Midwest over the next 48 hours or so. Our severe weather threat kept to a minimum again tomorrow. A dry line forming over the central plains, Minneapolis, Salina down to Dallas could see those large hail-producing storms and damaging wind. We get into Friday, severe weather threat shifts even further east, and so does the heat. But we're going to catch a little bit of it. Upper 70s to near 80 degrees tomorrow. And we just have high clouds passing through tonight. Isolated showers in southeastern Colorado have moved out. There are a couple of stray showers over the northern and central mountains tonight, but they're of little consequence. They won't impact travel tonight or tomorrow. But lows up there will be cold tonight. 26 in Steamboat, 30 Vail, 29 Gunnison, 48 for Denver, 46 in Lamar. And there's those 90s I was talking about tomorrow in southeastern Colorado. Summer's still 3-4 weeks away, but not in southeastern Colorado, apparently. Mid-70s for Broomfield and Littleton and Castle Rock and Parker tomorrow. City forecast for tonight, high clouds and comfortable evening at 48. We started this morning at 36. Tomorrow, highs near 80, a nice day, a little bit of wind to deal with in the afternoon. That's part of a front that brings us into the lower 70s Friday. 30% chance of rain from storms on Saturday, a couple of storms Sunday. Memorial Day looks good. And then we've got sunshine, 70s and 80s for Tuesday and Wednesday. And look at the glorious sunset pictures coming in from northern Colorado tonight. Keep them coming. So much more ahead. A break and we'll be back.
In just a few months, Lutheran Medical Center in Wheat Ridge will move a few miles down the road and reopen as the new Intermountain Health Lutheran Hospital. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause joins us now. And Rachel, there's a one-time patient at that old hospital that is helping to welcome patients to the new one.
Yeah, greeting those coming into the new building will sit a sculpture created by a man whose life was saved by those at Lutheran 20 years earlier. Behind Diane and Kevin Robb's Wheat Ridge home, they've created a garden. It's not flowers or fountains, but steel and metal, bringing it to life.
Kevin has been a sculptor for about 40 years.
Yes. But the artistic road wasn't always one these Boulder High School sweethearts intended to take.
We were married for about 3 years, and he came home one day and he said, Diane, I can't live without art. Yes. And I looked at him and I said, whose art?
The laughter carrying them forward as Kevin forged a new path as a sculptor.
It was January 8th, 2004, our life changed. Yeah. I found him down in the studio. He had no pre-existing conditions at all, nothing that would indicate a problem.
At 49 years old, Kevin had a massive stroke. Taken to Lutheran, he spent 13 days on life support and months after in rehab.
Our life changed drastically on that day, and we didn't know what we had. We didn't know what we were going to do.
His right side was left with limited function, and the stroke affected Kevin's ability to speak. His vocabulary is limited to about 100 words.
He is physically challenged, but we discovered he can still create. And if he can create, wow, we can hire men to be his hands. And that is what we do.
Through his work, yes, Kevin's spirit returned.
It's his heart and it's his soul. Yeah. It was his art that brought him back to us.
What? So when the hospital that saved his life asked if Kevin would create the signature sculpture for their new hospital, Kevin got to work.
I still have to do a weave pass over it.
I know.
After months spent working,
yes.
This 17-foot sculpture is nearly complete. It's a piece that celebrates recovery. 20 years after his stroke, Kevin is ready to celebrate his own journey to healing. He hopes his work sparks that same joy for every person at this hospital on their own path to recovery.
It'll be very emotional when it's installed and we can step back and look at it.
Yes. Wow.
The new hospital will open up August 3rd in Wheat Ridge. It'll feature a collection of more than 600 pieces of art, nearly all of which have been created by Colorado artists, including Kevin. Rachel Krause, 9 News.